let me tell you something I've never said out loud before. I'm retiring at 30 years old. No yacht, no beach house, no trust fund. And no, I didn't win the lottery. But I'm walking away, completely, from something I spent every single day of the last decade building. And the moment I made that decision was the first time I felt truly free. Now, I know what you're thinking. He must have made millions. He must have sold a company or gone viral or stumbled into crypto at the right moment. And I get it. That's the story we've been trained to expect when someone says, retire early. But what if I told you that this story has nothing to do with money, and everything to do with survival? My name is Marcus. I'm 30 years old. I live in Chicago, and for the past 11 years, I have been running non-stop towards something I could never quite touch. Success, respect, enough. I thought if I just worked harder, one more promotion, one more project, one more sacrifice, I'd finally arrive. Finally feel like I made it. But here's the truth nobody tells you. The finish line keeps moving, and somewhere along the way, I lost myself trying to reach it. This isn't a story about getting rich. It's a story about what happens when you do everything right and still feel completely empty. I grew up in a small house on the south side of Chicago. My dad worked 2 jobs. My mom worked 1. And from the time I was old enough to understand anything, I understood this. You work hard or you fall behind. My dad used to say, Marcus, nobody's going to hand you anything. You take it or someone else does. I was 7 years old when he first said that to me. I wrote it on the inside cover of every notebook I owned. By high school, I had 2 part-time jobs and straight A's. Not because it was easy, because I believed that hustle was the only currency that mattered. College, business degree, graduated top of my class, landed a job at a consulting firm in downtown Chicago before my diploma was even dry. I thought that was winning. I thought that was the beginning. And it was. The beginning of a very long, very exhausting road. My first year at that firm, I worked 70-hour weeks without flinching. My second year, I added weekends. By year 3, I barely remembered what a Saturday afternoon felt like. But I was climbing. Every 6 months, a new title. Every year, a raise. And with every raise, I told myself, this is it. This is why I sacrificed. This is what it was for. I bought a nicer apartment, got a car I didn't need, started wearing clothes that cost more than my dad made in a week. From the outside, I had arrived. From the inside, I was running on fumes. My phone was my life. My identity was my job title. I missed my cousin's wedding. I missed my best friend's birthday twice. I missed my dad's 60th birthday dinner because I had a presentation the next morning. I told myself I'd make it up to them. I always told myself that. Around year 6, something started to shift. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. with my heart pounding. Not from a nightmare, just from existing. Anxiety that had no specific reason, just a constant low hum of dread that never went away. My doctor told me my blood pressure was too high for a 27-year-old. My therapist, yes, I finally got one, told me I was on the edge of a clinical burnout. And what did I do? I went back to work the next morning and put in 11 hours. Because I genuinely did not know any other way. The hustle wasn't something I did. It was something I was. Slow down? I didn't even know what that meant. Around that same time, I started noticing something strange. I'd be in the middle of a big presentation, nailing it, honestly, and I'd look out the conference room window at the street below. And I'd see a guy eating lunch on a park bench. Just sitting there. Sun on his face. No phone. Just existing. And I'd feel this, I don't know how to describe it, this sharp pain in my chest. Not physical. Something deeper. Like grief. I was grieving a life I was still technically living. And I didn't understand that yet. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. I was in a budget meeting, arguing about quarterly projections like my life depended on it, when my phone buzzed. It was my sister. My dad had a heart attack. He survived. Thank God he survived. But sitting in that hospital waiting room, in my $400 dress shirt, laptop bag still on my shoulder, something cracked wide open inside me. My dad had worked his entire life. He didn't retire. He didn't slow down. He put everything into providing. And now he was lying in a hospital bed with tubes in his arm, asking me if my boss had given me trouble for leaving the office early. Early? I left 3 hours into his heart attack and he was worried about my boss. That night, I sat in the hospital parking garage until 2 a.m. Just sat there. And for the first time in years, I asked myself a question I had been too scared to ask before. What am I actually doing this for? After my dad's heart attack, I went back to work. Because of course I did. But something had shifted. I started noticing things I had tuned out for years. The guy in the cubicle next to mine, 54 years old, talking about retiring someday. My manager, brilliant, driven woman, who hadn't taken a real vacation in 6 years and joked about it like it was a badge of honor. I started doing something I'd never done before. I started counting. I counted how many Sundays I had worked in the last year. 41. I counted how many times I had canceled plans with friends because of work. 37. I counted the days I had gone without a full night's sleep. I stopped counting at 90. And then I did the calculation that broke me. If I kept living the way I was living, working the same hours at the same pace with the same priorities, I would work until I was 65. That's 35 more years. 35 more years of alarm clocks at 5 a.m., of missed dinners, of Sunday emails, of choosing the job over the life. And for what? So I could retire at 65. If my body held up, if the company didn't downsize, if the market didn't crash, and then finally start living? I started to think, we have it completely backwards. I sat there for a very long time. I couldn't answer her. That question haunted me for 6 months. I'd be in a meeting and it would hit me. I'd be at the gym and it would hit me. I'd be lying in bed and it would absolutely destroy me. Because the truth was, I had spent so long becoming the job that I had forgotten how to be a person. I had friends but no friendships. I had a home but no rest. I had success by every measurable standard, and I was one of the loneliest people I knew. And the thing about loneliness is, it doesn't announce itself. It creeps in while you're busy, while you're grinding, while you're telling yourself that feelings are something you'll deal with later. Later never comes. That's the trap. I spent 2 months making a plan. A real one. I ran the numbers. I looked at what I actually needed versus what I had convinced myself I needed. I simplified. I cut. I got honest. I had saved well over the years, not because I was wealthy, but because I had never stopped to spend on things that actually mattered to me. I'd been spending on status. So I made a choice. Not to escape my life. Not to run away from responsibility. I made a choice to leave the version of myself that I had been living in. A version that was slowly, quietly dying. The morning I handed in my notice, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from relief. But here's the part where I tell you what retiring at 30 actually means. Because it's probably not what you've been imagining this entire time. I didn't stop working. I'm not sitting on a beach doing nothing. I still wake up early. I still have goals. I still have bills. What I retired from was something much harder to name. I retired from the hustle that was killing me. I retired from living for other people's definitions of success. I retired from the constant comparison, the social media scoreboard, the keeping up, the performing. I retired from the idea that I had to earn the right to rest. I retired from sacrificing my health to prove I was serious. I retired from missing the moments that actually make a life, the Sunday dinners, the long phone calls, the walks that go nowhere. I retired from chasing a finish line that didn't exist. And the moment I did that, the moment I actually decided that my peace was not negotiable, everything changed. Not my bank account, not my address, not my circumstances. I changed. And it turns out, that's the only retirement that matters. I want to say something directly to you right now. Whoever you are, wherever you're watching this. You don't have to wait until 65 to start living. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to justify slowing down. You don't have to destroy yourself to deserve a life. Because here's the thing about hustle culture that nobody wants to say out loud. It is designed to make you feel like you're never enough. Like you always need to do more, be more, have more. And if you're always running toward more, you never get to experience what you already have. Success without peace isn't success. It's a very expensive, very exhausting kind of failure. My dad is doing better now. We talk every Sunday. Real conversations. Not the 5-minute check-in calls I used to schedule between meetings. Real ones. Last month, we went fishing together for the first time since I was 12 years old. We didn't catch anything. We sat there for 4 hours and caught absolutely nothing. It was the best day I can remember. So when people ask me, Marcus, when are you going back to work? I smile, because I never stopped working. I just stopped working on the wrong things. I'm not retiring from work. I'm retiring from the version of me that forgot how to live. If this story hit home, subscribe. Because sometimes the stories we need most are the ones nobody talks about.